What's up, beautiful people? It's Amanda here once again with another video. And as you know, today is Wednesday, which means that it's time for a little midweek motivation. And as you know, we have been doing our series of motivation in careers, and we are continuing. And today we have a special guest with us, and her name is Claudine, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her career. So welcome, Claudine. It's such a pleasure to have you today. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm great. I'm excited to have this interview with you. So excited.
All right. And I'm excited to have you here. So, everybody wants to know what you do. So can you tell us what is your career?
Well, I'm an attorney. I'm a housing attorney with Legal Aid Society. So I advocate on behalf of tenants and landlord and tenant proceedings.
Wow. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
There's so many different parts of law. So today we're going to dive into that one. So what I wanted to know was, what exactly do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, on a day-to-day basis, I negotiate stipulations with opposing counsel. I counsel my clients. I draft and file motions. We wear different hats in this kind of field, but it's a very fast-paced type of field of law. And that's pretty much the day-to-day. It's very short, but it's definitely, there's more that's added to it. But for the basis, that's what it is.
All right. So you got to be negotiating all the time, seeing lots of people, lots of interaction going on.
Yeah. And it consists of different areas, right? We have holdover, we have non-payment, we have illegal lockout, we have HP, which is like repair conditions in an apartment or home. So these are many of the areas in which we negotiate stipulations, draft motions, advocate on behalf, court appearances. I have court appearances all the time, and it's virtual now because the courts are not physically open or in person. So that's pretty much I do day to day.
Wow. That seems like a lot, but you seem so passionate about it. So I wanted to know what would have motivated you to choose this career. Was it your first choice? Give us the details.
Yeah. It wasn't my first choice. I wanted to be a cardiovascular surgeon before, but then that quickly changed when I watched A Time to Kill, the movie. One of my favorite movies, A Time to Kill. It's a 1996 thriller drama. And it pretty much, the movie line is a heartbroken father who avenges the brutal rape of his daughter by shooting the bigoted men, right? And he is represented by a white attorney. And that movie really struck a chord with me. And the reason why it did, because I realized the power of words, how words can actually set people free, how words can actually get a judge to move, and don't get me wrong, it's not only words, you got to use the law, you have to use many factors, but I realized how powerful words are and that we can use our words to advocate on behalf of others and help the hopeless and the oppressed. And then also another one of my favorite movies, The Great Debaters, a 2007 drama romance. That's another movie that also touches on the principle of using your words as power, using your words in a way to really get what you need and what you want.
All right. So I love that because we definitely use words every day and we don't realize how powerful they are. But
most definitely.
So what would you say is the best part about your career? Because, there's some stressful moments, but, there are definitely some things that we love and what continues to drive us as we go throughout our career. So what would you say is your favorite part, the best part for you?
The best part, or the part that I love the most, is when my client is able to hope and dream again, right? Because I remember in law school, we were doing clinicals. I was in the family law clinic. And I remember my first experience of dealing with or advocating on behalf of a client in a divorce proceeding. Her spouse was very manipulative, emotionally, mentally, physically abusive. And I was able to advocate on her behalf to secure a divorce decree. And right after, just the way that she expressed her gratitude, it was such a high. It felt like this is my purpose. It felt like I was able to use my words, going back to the movie, A Time to Kill. I was able to use my words to set someone free. And I realized that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to continue to have that high and that passion. And that's what led me to this career and this path. Pretty much. I was in law school at that time, but that's what really solidified it for me.
All right. So I wanted to know, I think some of my viewers might be curious about this as well. What exactly did you study to get into this area?
What did I study? Actually, before law school, you can pretty much have any type of degree, right? I had a bachelor's in forensic psychology, a minor in philosophy and English. That really has nothing to do with being a lawyer. So don't be limited or don't be deterred by what your bachelor's is before. What I did was you have the LSAT, you have the process of the LSAT, and then you start pretty much, if you get a certain score, you start law school, or you get into law school, excuse me. And in law school, it's pretty much your domain. In the first year, as they say, 1L. 1L is pretty much the basics, like your property, your evidence, your torts, your contracts. That's just the basic structure for all attorneys. And then in your 2L and 3L, you pretty much shape your career to how you want it to be. So what I did was I focused on family law and criminal. That's pretty much what I kind of honed in on. Now, someone would say, okay, but you're doing housing. That's the beauty of being a lawyer, right? You can touch on many areas, except for a few like patent law and some other laws where you have to actually be specialized and concentrate on that. But for other areas, once you have the ample amount of time to specialize, and you can practice in that area. So that's kind of the freedom, somewhat, and flexibility of being an attorney. Because I touched on in my career, I've touched on family law, I've did criminal, I've done immigration, and now I'm in housing. So it's pretty much about where you want to be in that time and how you want to serve as an attorney in what field.
Right. So this is some awesome information that we're getting from you, and I'm sure everybody's enjoying it. And so my last question for you is, well, this is a motivational channel, and we want to motivate all of our viewers and to make sure, they carry something with them, not just the information, but also a little something to motivate them throughout the day, their week, and weeks to come, and their careers as well. So what would you like to tell my viewers to motivate them as they continue their careers or even choosing them?
Yeah, so I have a couple of points. One, trust God, right? And I really mean that, right? God has a blueprint for your life. He's not asking you to figure it out. He's just asking you to trust him and allow him to lead you. So that's one. Two, stand on his promises, right? Especially stand on his promises overall, yes. But definitely when times get rough and hard, stand on his word and promises. You have Jeremiah 29:11. You have Romans 8:28. You have Proverbs 3:5-6. You have Isaiah 41:10. I could go on and on of promises and words and scriptures in the Bible that you need to stand on. Another thing too, my grandmother, dear to my heart, love her, she passed away, but all of the gems that she used to share with me, I still remember it to this day. One thing she used to say, nobody did already one time. And one thing I used to always remember that, she's Jamaican. One thing I used to always remember about that, if it is for you, it will be for you. You don't have to fight for it, right? It will come to fruition and it will ripen when it needs to ripen, right? So you have to trust that. And don't compare yourself to anybody else. Your lane and your path is your lane and your path. No one can take that away from you. Also, another big thing, that is my fourth point, choose your heart, right? Choose your heart. And what I mean by that is you could be broke. Being broke is hard. Being successful is hard. Choose which one you want. I will always choose the latter. I will always choose the heart of success, because at the end of the day, you will always have some type of hard path to get to where you want, right? And then also my fifth point, my last point, I could say so many, but my fifth point is do not take no for an answer unless God says no, right? Because there are many times you'll get that door slammed in your face. There are many times where people tell you no. They are not sovereign. They're not God. continue to fight, continue to grind, be resilient. When God says no, that's when you stop. And then you be still and wait for him to give you the next detour or direction for your next path or how to maneuver. But if he doesn't, keep fighting.
I love that. So thank you so much, Claudine, for being here.
Of course.
It was a pleasure having you.
Mine
I enjoyed
too.
it for sure. And we just want to say to all of you, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you're enjoying this series because I definitely am. I'm learning so much about all these different careers. And I'm hoping that it's helping you guys to be able to decide or even just be motivated. So thank you, Claudine, for the great work.
Of course.
And for just giving us some more information about your career. So that's all we have for you for today, guys. We hope that you continue to enjoy the rest of your week and that you keep smiling and stay motivated. That's all. See ya.